I am 83 years old. My name is Zilda. When Harold died, people would not stop telling me that I would need help, that I should move closer to my children, that a woman my age should not be carrying everything alone. But here is what nobody tells you about getting older. The most reliable support you will ever have will not come from your family. It will not come from your friends. And it certainly will not come from waiting for the world to take care of you. It comes from 5 things that only you can build for yourself. I know that sounds harsh, maybe even cruel, but I have seen too many people my age become dependent. They become burdens. They become smaller and smaller until they disappear completely. And I have also seen a few others remain whole, remain themselves, remain free. The difference was not luck. It was these 5 things. The first is your body, your ability to move. I learned this the hard way when I was 75. I woke up one morning and could not get out of bed without grabbing the nightstand. My knees would not straighten. My back felt like it had locked up overnight. I sat on the edge of the bed trembling, thinking, this is it. This is how it all begins. I thought about Mrs. Coleman, who lived on my street. She was 72 when she could no longer climb stairs. Within a year, she was already living with her daughter. Within 2 years, she barely left her room. She did not lose her mind. She lost her legs. And when you lose your legs, you lose your choices. That morning, sitting on my bed, frightened, I made a decision. I started walking every day, even when it hurt, even when I did not want to, even when it was cold, raining, or I was tired. Just 30 minutes around the block, nothing special. And I stretched, not like I used to when I was younger, those wide twisting stretches that made everything worse, just gentle movements, ankle circles, lifting my knees while sitting in a chair, rolling my shoulders, small things, but every single day. Now at 83, I can still get out of bed without help. I can still walk to the store. I can still carry my own groceries. And that means I do not have to ask. I do not have to wait. I do not have to depend. My friend Carol is 79. She stopped moving 5 years ago. She simply stopped. She said her knees hurt, so she sat more. And the more she sat, the worse they got. And the worse they got, the more she sat. Now she cannot walk to her own mailbox without someone holding her arm. She is a prisoner in her own body. And when you are a prisoner in your body, you are a prisoner everywhere. So that is the first thing. Your body, your ability to move. You have to protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. If what I am saying connects with you, follow this channel. There is so much more I want to share with you. The second thing is learning to need less. I used to think security meant having more money saved, more things, more comfort. But I was wrong. Security means needing less. I learned this when I was 68, 2 years after Harold died. I was sitting at the kitchen table one night looking at bills. The house was too big. The heating cost too much. The property taxes kept going up. I was spending money just to maintain a life I did not even want anymore. I thought about my neighbor, Mr. Garrison. He had worked his whole life, saved well, retired with a good pension, but he had built a life that cost too much to maintain. Big house, 2 cars, expensive habits. By 74, his savings were running out faster than he had planned. He started depending on his son for money, and every time he had to ask, I could see a little bit of him disappear. I did not want that. So I sold the house. I bought this small place, 1 floor, low maintenance, paid in full. I got rid of the second car. I learned to cook simple meals instead of eating out. I stopped buying things I did not need just because I was used to having them. And something strange happened. I felt richer. Not because I had more money, because I needed less of it. When you need less, nobody has power over you. You do not have to ask your children for help. You do not have to make compromises you do not want to make. You do not have to smile and say thank you when you really want to say no. My friend Beverly is 81. She still lives in her big house. She can barely afford it, but she will not downsize because she is afraid of what people will think. So she struggles, and she asks her kids for money. And every time she asks, the resentment grows on both sides. She has more than I do, but I am freer than she will ever be. The third thing is your health, not luck, habits. I wish someone had told me this when I was younger, but I am telling you now. After 60, your body does not give you second chances. I watched my brother Frank ignore every sign his body sent him. He smoked. He drank. He ate whatever he wanted. He never went to the doctor. I feel fine, he would say. I am tough. At 71, his body sent the bill. Diabetes, heart problems, high blood pressure. Suddenly, he was taking 8 medications, going to doctors every week, living in fear of the next attack. He did not die, but he stopped living. He became a manager of his own decline. That was all. Pill schedules, dietary restrictions, constant fear. I started differently when I turned 70. I began walking every morning. I started eating real food instead of whatever was convenient. I drank water. I slept 8 hours. I went to the doctor every year whether I felt sick or not because I enjoyed it, because I knew what happened if I did not. Now at 83, I do not take any daily medications. My blood pressure is normal. My heart is strong. I am not special. I just did small things consistently for years, and because of that, I do not need help managing my health. I do not need someone to remind me to take pills. I do not need someone to drive me to endless appointments. I am free because my body still works. That is the third thing. Your health. You have to earn it every single day, or you will spend your last years paying for the neglect. Leave a comment right now and tell me, which of these 5 things do you find hardest to keep? I want to know. The fourth thing is your ability to handle loss without falling apart. This one nobody talks about, but it is the most important, because after 60, you are going to lose things. People, abilities, the life you had. The question is not whether you will face loss. The question is, can you survive it without becoming someone who needs to be carried? I learned this when Harold died. I was 66. We had been married for 44 years, and when he was gone, I felt like half of myself had disappeared. I knew 2 paths were in front of me. I could collapse. I could let the grief consume me. I could become a woman who needed her children to visit constantly, to fill the emptiness, to give me a reason to get out of bed. Or I could grieve and keep walking. I chose to keep walking. I let myself cry. I let myself miss him. But I did not let the missing become my whole identity. I kept my routines. I kept my walks. I kept showing up to my own life. And slowly I built something new. Not better. Not the same. Just new. My friend Nancy lost her husband around the same time. But she made a different choice. She stopped doing anything she used to do with him. She stopped going to church. She stopped seeing friends. She sat in her house and waited for her children to come fill the void. And they tried. But they could not. Nobody could. Now at 80, Nancy lives in a kind of permanent suspension. Waiting, needing, bitter that nobody can fix what is broken. The difference between us was not that I loved Harold less. It is that I did not expect anyone else to carry my grief for me. Resilience is not about being strong. It is about being able to get up after you fall again and again. And if you cannot do that, you will be dependent on others to lift you forever. The 5th thing is knowing who you are and refusing to give that up. This is the hardest one, and the one nobody teaches you. Because after 60, people will start making decisions for you if you let them. Your children will tell you what is safe. Doctors will talk over you like you are not there. Society will assume you are incapable just because you are old. And if you do not know who you are, what you stand for, what matters to you, what you will and will not accept, you will disappear. I watched this happen to my friend Patricia. Her children convinced her to stop driving. Then they convinced her to move closer to them. Then they convinced her to give up activities they thought were too risky. At 77, Patricia does not live her own life anymore. She lives the life her children think she should live. And the bitterness is eating her alive. I made a different choice. When my daughter Linda suggested I move into assisted living just to be safe, I said no. Not angrily, not rudely, just clearly. I appreciate your concern, but while I can take care of myself, I am staying in my own home. If that changes, we will talk. But that time is not now. She pushed. She used worry. She used guilt. But I knew who I was, and I knew what mattered to me. Independence, my own space, my own choices. I am 83 now, still in my house, still making my own decisions. Not because I am stubborn, because I know what I am willing to give up and what I am not. If you do not know that about yourself, other people will decide for you, and you will spend your last years living someone else's idea of what is best. Follow this channel if you want to keep hearing these conversations. I will not stop talking. So those are the 5 things: your body, your ability to need less, your health, your resilience, your sense of identity. Nobody can build these for you, and nobody can take them away once you have earned them. I am not saying your family does not love you. I am saying love is not enough. You need to be able to sustain yourself, or you will spend your last years depending on people who also have their own lives to live. And that is not fair to them, and it is not dignified for you. If you are 60, 70, even 80, it is not too late. But you need to start now. Start moving your body. Start simplifying your life. Start taking care of your health. Start strengthening your emotions. Start knowing what you stand for. Because I promise you this, at 85, you will not regret having been disciplined. You will only regret having waited. If this resonated with you, leave a comment and tell me which of these 5 things you are still working on. I read every single one and I will reply. I also need to share with you 3 things nobody tells you about living alone. The hard truths I wish someone had told me, and how I learned to handle them without losing myself. Click on the video that is appearing on the screen right now to understand what I mean. Subscribe if you want to keep talking with me. Until then, take care of yourself, whatever that means for you.